My name's Robert Kennedy. I'm the Managing Director of Red Security Solutions, aka Red CCTV. This is Ashley Cardno. He's the Technical Director of Red CCTV. A quick brief history or introduction of who we are. So I grew up in a civils and utilities family, and then went into the family business. I worked in civils and dropping shafts, laying sewers, relining sewers. I went on to utilities, into clean water, and then we are muted. On mute.
Yeah, we're all right.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, into rail, into telecom sector of rail, picked up large sections of data and CCTV, and that's how I learnt my craft. But I like to think I've got a lot of experience in some experience in your side of the fence. Red CCTV was formed in 2012. Our first customer was Bar Hale in Anglian region, Anglian Water. We have always had a long history of using low voltage systems. We also do fixed work with smart analytics, and we did some SEMD fixed commercial work for Anglian Water around 2015. But our main business is rapid deployable CCTV and low voltage solutions. We still have Bar Hale as a customer in Anglian and Yorkshire. We still work for Anglian Water Direct. We work for Volker, Morgan Sindall Network Plus, and in all the different sectors. And we have been working towards the product we are now about to present to you for quite a long time. However, we have got a history of low voltage, like I say, eco-friendly systems. For instance, around 2015, 2016, we introduced a solar tower. I think we were the first in the industry to do so. And we also started providing savings reports back in 2015, 2016. We did this manually, and we didn't get much uptake from our clients, but obviously as now we are in different times, and it is the current carbon reduction, if you like, themes and targets, that since we've developed those products, we have eventually come to what we're going to present now. So we're going to hand you over to Ash. I know we're under some time constraints. We will send out the presentation after, so you will pick up on some of the stuff we've done. Ash?
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, so as Rob mentioned there, we've got a history of developing products and moving towards getting to carbon zero. And the shackles have really been the product, and the technology hasn't been there until really in the last 12 months, where we've been able to move towards developing the Scout. So just to give you a bit of an introduction into the Scout and a reason of why we decided to do the Scout and what was the thinking behind it. As Rob mentioned, carbon zero, carbon neutral, a lot of projects now have got this as one of their criteria. There's people now employed within projects that are there to basically manage the sustainability. Generators as such are being phased out, and people are starting to put other power sources, sustainable power sources in there to run and manage the sites. So we wanted to get away from this really, which is what is the market at this moment in time, which is big towers being dropped off on HGVs, HIABs, one vehicle for one tower type mentality. Bottom left-hand corner there showing a tower that's being powered by a generator. And we wanted to get away from it, what would reduce the carbon footprint that we have been leaving for such a long time when we're doing site security, and move towards a cleaner product. And that was the reason behind the Scout, to try and just make a much more eco-friendly product. So we working with a technology manufacturer, and we wanted to design a battery powered solution. So we've actually managed to do that. It's been out on test now since the end of last year, beginning of this year. And it's a first fully battery powered system that boasts live view with artificial intelligence for analytics for detection. There's other products out there that do similar, but theirs is just based on motion detection, and they send little video snapshots through to people. We wanted to give something more and give things that were more pertinent to the towers that I was showing you in the last slide, which get dropped off on site, which need the big gas guzzling generators to basically keep the features that they have in them running. So the Scout is a perimeter detection system which we can move around. It is totally autonomous. We can put solar panels on it if it's out there for long hire. So for longer periods of time, maybe 6 months plus, where with the batteries will start to run out. We put solar in there and it makes the product an autonomous solution. It'll run 365 days a year, 24/7, and it won't miss a beat. And we've had these out on site and we've been testing them, getting the data back from them, and we're confident now that we've cracked it basically. We wanted to do 2 versions of the solution, a low mounted version, which can be basically dropped around on sites at low level, which goes up to a height of about 2.5 to 3 meters. But we've also now got a towered version, which we can actually put up to 5 meters, which gives an overall bird's eye view of a site really. So where there may be obstacles in there, such as cabins, welfare cabins, toilets and stuff like that, this will oversee those areas and protect the site from a higher elevated view. The product itself is fully battery operated. It's got AI built into it, which I'll touch on in a second. It'll classify anybody that enters the site, so it won't have false alarms from bags, papers, hoarding, or any sheeting that's put on fencing or anything like that won't cause the product to false alarm. We've got audio functionality on there as well, so if there is an intruder on a site, the unit will talk to them, goes off to a monitoring station. And the key thing for it is when that monitoring station gets the alarm, they can go in there and see a live view from that site. We're the first people to be able to do this, so they can see what's going on site. They get the clip, but now they can actually see and check where that person is on the site at that time. So as well as there being an audio message to the people on the site if they are intruders, there is also an active visual red and blue deterrent and a strobe that flashes to warn the people that they are being watched. We wanted to go down the solar route as well to obviously get the longevity of the product to make it autonomous. On the left-hand side shows you the current market and how they manage solar. The size of these units that are out there at the moment are massive. They take up a huge floor space, and on small compounds, solar really isn't an option because they take up too much space. So by us making a smaller, more eco-friendly power with smart batteries in there, we've managed to use smarter solar panels and smaller solar panels, which means we take up less floor space and we can cover more of the area with less units. By going down this way, it also means that we can transport units more efficiently because we've got a smaller compact unit. We don't need to use trailers or HGVs with high abs there to drop them off. We can pop these in the back of a transit van, so to speak, take them to site and pop up to about 8 to 10 of these at any one time onto a site just in one trip. And we're also moving towards an electric fleet of vehicles, so we're going to go even further with the reducing our carbon footprint. Analytics within the units, which is the key element of what detects and sends off to our monitoring station, is all algorithm based. So it analyzes the image, it picks up detection on the sites, and it also then notifies the monitoring station of objects that we class as being wanted to be advised about, such as people or vehicles. We're not interested in wildlife, we're not interested in anything that's blowing past or birds, anything at all that could cause another product to detect and alert. Ours will just send through what we call wanted alarms, so anything there that we want to know that's of interest. So as you can see on the slide there, the unit's picked up a person, it's actively said it's 100% confident it's a person, and it will send that off to the monitoring station. So this is what we would see from our product, is an analytical view here, which is what's picked up the alarms, showing that it's a person. And then our live view, when you tap into that and jump onto it to see what's going on live, we can see what's happening, we can see the people, and we can direct any key holders or anybody that's going to site there to see what's going on. We can actually advise them if there's anybody there, if there's anybody broken into the cabins. If the police are going to site, we can actually direct the police. And this is one of the key things. By doing it blind, by just having this element on the left, makes it very difficult to work out where people are, perpetrators are, when they've entered the site. One of the key things we designed in the product was to make sure that we had both a 24/7 product, so something that can perform well in the daytime, but also at night time. And we've used technology now that's available to us to give crystal clear images both day and night. We have got IRs working on the one on the right, but we have got product now that is working without IR, working in what we call full colour mode, which performs just as well in nighttime images, just as well as it would do in daytime images. And this is because the technology is there for us to use. So one of the big things with detection is this area here, where we've got two sites there being protected by two different products. Ours is on the left and our competitors is on the right. Because we're able to detect at 35, a minimum of 35 meters, with one product on one scout, we can cover over 70 meters squared with one scout. Our competitors each are covering about 10 or 15 meters, which they can cover about 30 meters squared. So we're the less than 50% detection distance than what we can get from our units. Well, what does that mean to people that are using them? It means they need more units on a site where we need less units on a site. Less units means less traveling, less maintenance, less delivery than other people. And that's what we wanted to get from a product. So we've managed to partner up and use solutions that are going to give us a better detection and a more accurate detection than other people's products that are out there. And that little image on the bottom there just shows you on a 100 by 100 meter site, we would be able to cover it with 5 units, and our competitors would be using about 16 units to cover the same area. And the cost side of it is also very important. Because there's less units, the cost of protecting that site is far less than what it would be to protect it with 16 units from somebody else's product. So moving on from the Scout, we're talking about site access security as another element of the webinar. Back in the beginning of last year, when the pandemic struck us, we saw a huge shift from people using site access solutions and how they were accessing sites. We set about developing a product to protect businesses on people checking temperatures as they enter sites. We got away from using tripods and we developed a standalone solution that was robust, that we could rent out as we would do with our normal products, but would give 100% accuracy and less maintenance for anybody when it's on site. That led us then, when we were dropping these off, to start looking at sites in terms of how people were accessing them. Using this technology where we're picking up people's temperatures was going to be possibly a thing that would be moving into site access, and how turnstiles and other touch points would maybe taken away because they want to try and use a contactless access into site. And contactless access is now moving and becoming more norm. You're finding a lot of places that we go to, doors are left open, or there's more automation in there when you're walking up to them, just to stop people touching doors, handles, pushing buttons, so on and so forth. So we designed the A-Pod, and the A-Pod is a total contactless site solution. Allows you to control and monitor staff, visitors, contractors that enter and leave site. We wanted to get away from using biometric solutions such as face, where that can be impacted by the conditions on site, where there's maybe a high dust level, or there may be a low level of sunlight coming through in winter. It may cause problems for biometrics like that being used, and also damaging. A lot of the biometrics products are facial, are built for office blocks and aren't built for industrial solutions such as construction sites. So people going up to it on a damaged unit wouldn't get read. So we developed and designed our tile, working in conjunction with a partner of ours, so that we can use mobile phone technology to enter sites. We can give people and grant people access for permanent contractors, maybe on for a 2-week, 3-week schedule, but we can also do it by the day or even by the hour if we wanted to. We can also put in data such as CSCS cards, PSA,
blue cards.
Blue card, anything there that basically is a credential that people need to enter site, we can pop onto these tiles, so that when they go to scan and enter, it'll do a credential check, it'll do a check to make sure that everybody's who they are and they're in the right place at the right time. It'll check to make sure that they've got the right certifications to be entering the site and open the door. When they get into the actual products, into the actual A-Pod, they'll then go through a second screening to make sure that their biometrics is correct. So they do a facial screening there in a safe environment where they're not going to be impacted by sunlight or dust and stuff like that. It'll also do a temperature check to make sure that they fall within the criteria that might be for any variants of COVID that we're dealing with at this moment in time. And provided everything all is good, the doors will open and let them onto site. It sounds a lot of processes. It takes about 10 seconds to go through the product. And there's a video that we'll be sharing with you with the presentation when we share it with the pipeline that they'll be able to send to you, which you can see the unit working in its entirety. Onboarding is very simple. It's all web-based with your own unique usernames and password. You can go in there and add in people's details, why they're on site, what their role is, their mobile details, when they're on site, when they start, when they're ending, if they're permanent, if they're just on for a day pass, you can select day pass. Very easy for you to put different people on different levels. So for instance, if I was going to a site tomorrow, they could issue me with my pass for me to enter tomorrow. When I got to site and I got there with my mobile phone, it would ping me with an email, I download the app, everything will all be set up for me. As soon as I get to site, it'll work for that day. Come 5 o'clock that night, when I leave the site, it won't work any further. So the following day, if I was to go to site and try and gain access, it won't let me. So a very straightforward and simple system that we've designed there. That's the video that I'm going to send to you. I'm not going to show it now because it takes up a good 2 minutes and I don't want to eat into the time that we've got. Rob talked about carbon savings. This slide in here is to cover what we've done with all the products and show you what we've been doing since we've been doing the reporting. So we've saved, as you can see there, over 500,000 litres of fuel. The figures are there, I'll be going through them with you, but it's a lot of information that we've actually saved there. And this is before we went into totally autonomous products. So this is up to now. We've still got a fleet of hybrid solutions and solutions that work on generators and so on and so forth. And we've still managed to do that by using smart batteries and using a hybrid technology. With us moving away from that and moving into a totally autonomous product and using sustainable energy to power our products, the figures that we're going to be producing for this savings next year is going to be really interesting, and we'll be able to do a comparison of just how much more we've managed to save, not only just in fuel and carbon, but also how much the clients have saved in value because they've not had to fuel generators up. One product that we just dropped in at the last minute is the Project Cam. We call it Project Cam because it allows sites to have a full view of what's going on their site, monitor people entering and leaving. It will also create a time-lapse footage of the site that's going on there. You can check deliveries when people have been to site, what's been dropped off at site. You can do searches on vehicles, cars, humans, anything at all that you want to within an area. It's got a fantastic web user interface there that you can log into. That can be accessed via tablets. It can be accessed via mobile phones. There really isn't anything that you can't do from this piece of solution. We can compare days to day. We can compare months to months. So we can go to the 1st of August and go to the 31st of August. You can drag a time bar across and it'll compare those 2 days at exactly the same point with different dates. It's a really good bit of kit that we've been working with a partner with, and we can also put building management solutions in there as well. So if you have got 3D images of the buildings as they're going to be constructed, that can drop in there and we can add it into our solution. The big beauty of this product is we've actually added it into our existing Scout product. So we can put a Scout onto a site, we can protect the site with the site security, but we can also put the time lapse in there as well. And it's working off the same solar solution that we've built in with the Scout. So we've managed to make sure that everything is carbon neutral and we're not sat there needing generators to power a time lapse solution. So this can be added to our existing Scout solution as an option if people want to get a time lapse. And the Bar Hill site that we've got there, they've got the Scout, we're doing the security on the same tower, the time lapse on the same tower, and every month they get an update of what's going on with their site from our automated reporting system. So just to close everything off, these are some of the partners that we've been working with of late and our long-term partners, new partners that we continue to service. And there'll be some names there that everybody recognises. And these are just some of the case studies that we've been working on that we've popped in there. So just to touch on ones like the Cardno one, which we did with the pods last year. We've got some there with Balfour Beatties, which we've been working on with the HS2 sites, where they've been working on as well as their own offices. This is the HS2 there that we've been doing with Balfour Beatty Vinci. Stuff like the ones there at Tazica where we did the Iron Bridge project. We'll send all these through to you, so you can read up on what we've done and some of the stories that are there. And that's it. If anybody's got any questions at all,
feel free
to send them in or ask us however it's been done.
There is a question in the chat function for you. Do the cameras communicate back to the ARC via 4G, and can they integrate into Cortec management software?
Yes, they do. The alarms do go back via 4G. Cortec software I'm familiar with. It's quite a very strong platform. It's integrated with a lot of products. All our solutions that we do with our cameras are all ONVIF compliant. So with them being ONVIF compliant, Cortec works with the ONVIF protocol. So if it wanted to work on a Cortec platform, we should be able to. We haven't tested it, but I would be very confident to say that it would be able to work into Cortec.
Well, I can't see that anybody else has posted any questions at the moment. Has anybody got anything they'd like to ask? If you'd like to, I mean, you can unmute if you'd prefer. No?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining the session, and thanks to Ash and Rob for the presentation. It has been recorded and we'll be uploading that to our YouTube channel later. As Ash has said, they'll be sharing their slides, and we'll get those out to everybody that's on the call. Just before we leave, can I just remind everybody that we've got a lot of webinars coming up with a full programme. So if you go to the events page on the Guild website, you'll be able to see the webinars we've got coming up, as well as a few social events. There's an Eastern Branch lunch in the autumn, and the Wales and West dinner in the pump rooms in Bath on the 2nd of December. And then the main event is the Guild annual dinner, which is the annual one that we do at the Grosvenor House in London. So tickets are on sale for all of those events. So check it out on the website. So thanks everyone again. And
we'll be coming to that as well, Kate.
Jolly good. Look forward to seeing you there. All right. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers.